Why I will not be buying a car from XYZ Motors. Hey, this story is like, got a lot of redactions in it with names and places and dates and times, but what we're going to find out here is actually, I've got to read this twice just because there's some stuff in here that's so crazy. But I'm gonna criticize the buyer just a slight little bit. I'm gonna criticize the dealership a lot, and then you guys can chime in on what you think. Never walk around a car dealership for leisure. My experience while on a Saturday morning stroll while getting an oil change up the road. This was sent directly to the GSM, General Sales Manager, and he and I exchanged text messages. While my car was getting an oil change a few blocks away, I decided I would take a walk through the cars in the lot. I started walking through all of the cars and ended up stopping near the Chargers at the front. At that time, a few different people greeted me, and I ended up with Billy. It's a redacted name. He's going to be called Billy. I'm changing the names to protect the guilty and the stupid. He automatically assumed that I was interested in this specific car that I just happened to be standing at when he saw me, and made it his mission to convince me to buy it. I want to remember one thing here. Remember, she's just looking, right? Just looking out of boredom. And then Billy's just doing his job very poorly, because if he made his mission to sell this one car and not try to find out what this person might be looking for, when they might need a new vehicle, what they need, what they don't need, what they want, what they don't want, and just decided I'm selling this one and nothing else, this person's a fool, the salesperson. He convinced me to test drive a car solely because of the color. What did he go? It's green, get in. Folks, put your foot down, okay? When you go anywhere. If you're shopping for new clothes and you wear a 34-inch waist, if the person at the store is trying to say, hey, just try it. I know it's a size 50 waist, just try it on. You're not going to do it. Don't do it with a car either, okay? I knew nothing about the car. While test driving, I learned only from my own inquiry that a monthly payment would be anywhere from $500 to $700 a month. Okay, first of all, don't believe a salesman's numbers on the lot, because they don't know. They're doing rough math in their head, going, "Oh, it's a $40,000 car, and I can go $20 per thousand, $25." They're guessing. Okay, and if they were good guessers, they would have won the lottery already. That is completely out of my budget. And when he caught wind of that, he shifted into, oh, yeah, we can do close to $400. Now, keep in mind, my entire goal for walking out of here, or for walking over here, was solely to pass time as I'm getting an oil change. However, I was curious on if I could afford this car and agreed to get a quote. I have been in the market for a new car for the past few months, but have been casually looking. I mentioned multiple times to Billy and the general sales manager, Bob, again, it's redacted, but we're changing the names to protect the guilty and the stupid, that I had never been through this financial process and would need to be very well informed throughout the application. While inputting my information in order to run my credit with XYZ Motors, he was forging my information right in front of me. When he asked about my income, I told him that I made roughly $42K. He wrote $3,500 monthly. Well, in that case, that's not really forging. 42,000 divided by 12 is 3,500, and the banks are going to want to know gross monthly income. I told him I definitely don't bring home that after taxes, and he said, oh, I'll get away with it. I hope he was being sarcastic, but maybe he should have been able to read the room better and not joked like that with you. When inputting residential information, I told him I had lived here for 1 year. At the time, Bob was using my phone to collect the VIN on my current vehicle. Let me say that one more time. At that time, Bob, the GSM, was using my phone to collect the VIN on my current vehicle. Folks, do not let anyone take your phone, okay? And if you're a salesperson at a dealership, don't take your customer's phone. Do you have any kind of idea what the kind of liability you could open yourself up to? People have personal private information in there. You could be accused of so many different things. Don't do that. If there's information, have them screenshot and send it to you. Don't. It's horrendously stupid to let someone hand you their phone. Even if they're willing, I would never let a customer just hand me their phone and go, yeah, fine, what you're looking for. No, it's not happening. the time, Bob was using my phone to collect the VIN on my current vehicle. I couldn't remember the address of my previous apartment and stated that I'll have to look at my phone once it's returned. Billy said, "Oh, let's see if I can get away with this." And proceeded to change my current address to living here for 2 years. Immediately, I was concerned and off-put by the blatant lying. And that's when you should have gotten, like, probably long before this, but this is definitely when you like, it should have been the last straw that you got up and just walked. Okay? Billy mentioned that we should go see if my car has been started yet, as he was very pushy for a trade-in on my vehicle. I will say that again. I was open to the idea that if I bought a vehicle to trade in my car, somehow I was convinced to drive my Charger back over to ABC Lube, where I'm receiving services, and Billy comes right in with me. To appease him, I asked them for a progress update on my service, and they stated that it was up on the racks and wouldn't be much longer. Billy immediately steps in and starts talking to the service guy, saying, "Oh yeah, go ahead and take it off. We have to do an oil change anyways, since she's buying a new Charger." I left this out until now, but do you see a huge problem here? Now, Billy and the service guy are speaking without me, and my car ends up getting rolled out of the shop. I'm assuming this is a young lady. Okay, I'm making an assumption here because she's never really bought a car before, she says, and in the way they're just kind of steamrolling over her. If that was my daughter, Billy, and this other ABC Lube, whatever it is, you'd have a very pissed off father there the next day and a upside the back of the head, guys. I immediately tell the service guy that I'm not comfortable with this because if I do not end up buying a Charger today, that I'm still in need of an oil change. I was reassured that I could bring it back at any time and they have many available appointments. Billy proceeded to insist that he drives my car back to the dealership without my input at all. I was very uncomfortable with this entire situation. Now Billy is driving my car without my consent while I'm driving the Charger. Again, you've got to learn to put your foot down. We returned to ABC Motors and Bob is appraising my vehicle for a trade-in. At this point, my mind is spiraling. For recap, I walked over to ABC Motors to pass time, and I look at cars, and now I'm driving cars, giving my credit information, and other people are in my car. Bob with my explicit permission because he asked, and I agreed. At this point, it was time for me to leave. I had places to be at 12 and didn't realize at all that I had been trapped at this dealership since 9:50, and it was past 11:30 at this point. To make matters worse, when I got home, I checked my credit report to see that there were 5 hard credit inquiries from this situation. Why in the world was it not communicated to me that I would be taking 5 hard hits to my credit? The exact verbiage that Billy said was, "We are going to run your credit." Well, first of all, Billy doesn't really know what happens in the office back there. So he's just taught to just say that to get your consent. And if they told you, you probably wouldn't give your consent, but I'm sure in the fine print of something you signed, it tells you. That does not indicate 5 hard credit inquiries to me, and I felt very misinformed. And that's because you were. At least in the big print, you were misinformed. But in all honesty, I was not interested in this Charger. I did not like the car, and I would not buy it for myself, even at the best price. I tried to tell Billy this before and on the test drive, and he just kept deflecting. It's called bypassing, and saying how much I'll love it if I were to have taken my time looking through the lot with the assistance of a sales consultant. I very well may have walked out with a car that I loved. Unfortunately, that is just not what transpired. I was rushed, pressured, manipulated, and preyed upon. Who are you, Vanilla Ice? I'm kidding. I left feeling disgusted and taken advantage of. I will be looking at other dealerships in the future. As well you should be. What if that was your wife or your daughter or your mother that went through this? Don't ever let any business or any person or anyone try to manipulate you in your life like that. And salespeople, don't stop trying to take advantage of young people like this. This is insane, especially a young lady. I'm assuming it's a young lady. Could be wrong. Been wrong before. Been wrong a lot of times before, but something is way, way wrong with that whole situation. You were going to put somebody in a car just to get a deal without even being concerned with what they really wanted, they really needed. Where does that make sense?